all the books I plan to read in August. I added a few more from the library to my TBR. Oops. Hola, everybody. Allergies are killing me, so apologies for that. I have started A Great Deliverance by Elizabeth George. It's really interesting to see how Inspector Lindley and his partner kind of got forced to be together and then, or to work together, and then to have read like 13 books in how their relationship is really interesting. Because right now she hates him like with a passion, and he has a reputation for being like a womanizer, and he's not yet married to the character that he's supposed to ultimately get married to. So it's really interesting to go back and kind of start, and definitely start from the beginning and get to see that perspective. The crime is that, so this is, I think this was published in like the 90s. So it does use the derogatory term for Romani people. It was published in 1988. So, if you happen to pick up the series, just keep that in mind. It's a product of its time in that regard, and I think in some of the other language that it's used. But the writing is great, and I think it'll be an interesting mystery. So apparently this dad and a dog were found dead by a priest, and the daughter of the dad was sitting there with the bodies and said, "It's all my fault. I did it," something along those lines. And so Inspector Lindley and Barbara Havers, who is his partner, are being tasked with figuring out what happened. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just making some coffee. I think I might have said that I just love the way that she sets up mysteries, and I love the way she writes them, and I love that we get to see the beginnings of the relationship between Detective Lindley. My issue is that the main suspect for the crime is this young fat girl, and the language used to describe her and her fatness is foul. So this was, I think, published in 1988, and it's just it's definitely not aged well in that regard. And even in 1988, obviously it was not fucking good to talk about people this way. But I think we all know that even to this day, fatness is like one of those things that's still so widely accepted to make fun of. Like, it's still, society as a whole still seems to think that it's funny. My enjoyment of it was vastly decreased because of it, but I understand that it's a product of its time. Doesn't necessarily negate the fact that I hated it, so I'm not going to give it a high or a rating. It also uses the derogatory term for Romani people, though I thought it was gonna be worse. Like, I thought, given how we're talking about fatness, I thought also that the characters would, I guess, basically speak similarly, but it was not as bad as I thought, but still they used the derogatory term for them, which I think in the 80s probably was still the way they were referred to. I mean, they probably are still referred to as that now, but shouldn't be. Anyway, yeah, I mean, hopefully she's just grown and learned. I'm fine with recognizing people at one point thought a certain way and were a certain way and have grown, because if I told y'all the shit that I used to think when I was in high school or middle school or whatever, like, hi guys. Oh. Hi guys. So I am like 72 pages into The Secret History, and so this is about our main character Richard, who enrolls in this university, and he's studied Greek for 2 years, and so he learns that there is a teacher who teaches that and wants to join his class, but this teacher is very particular about who he accepts into his class. He only has 5 students and doesn't accept anybody, and he basically requires that they just drop every other class and every other teacher other than him. I don't know how like realistic that is. Apparently he's super duper rich and like doesn't get paid by the school, so they let him, or like he donates all of the money that would have gone to his paycheck back to the school, so the school basically lets him do whatever he wants. But I don't know, like, curriculum wise, if that is something that would have actually ever, sorry, I'm like, don't know where to put that camera. I don't know if that's ever something that like is realistic to believe. But I guess if I disregard those questions, I mean, we kind of get that similar dynamic that we get in other campus novels, where this group is very insular. They kind of barely talk to anybody else. They just hang out with each other. They all have a very peculiar way of being and talking. One of them, Bunny, is like ridiculously annoying, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens and kind of how everything plays out. I'm thinking I know kind of like the stance that this is gonna take, and where it's going. Like when they're discussing the Greeks, they're talking about the ways in which humanity really revels in, like we all have these urges of destruction and that we stifle, and like the more intelligent you are, the more you have to stifle your sort of innate nature. And so I wonder if that's kind of like the way that we're gonna go with whatever murder ends up happening, or whatever that happens always in the campus novel, if that's sort of them like giving in to their more basic or natural instincts and just going with it and sort of being as Greek as possible. I don't know, we'll see. It is interesting so far. Like I'm curious to see what is going to happen. I am noticing some differences between the book and the narration. It's narrated by Donna Tartt. There are a few things that she's either omitted in her audiobook or changed, and I don't know. I would imagine that like as the book has aged, she might have made a couple of changes, especially because this was published in 1992. So this is as old as I am. So maybe as the years have gone on, she's kind of made a few changes. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting so far. We'll see how it goes and how I feel about it. I guess I am a little bit skeptical already, but I want to just take it for what it is and see how I actually enjoy myself and try not to let sort of, I don't know, other ideas pop into my head. We'll see what happens. When the hell is this set? So I know it's published in 1982. I don't know that they've said a year. But they're talking about the... See, and this is where the thing that I was talking about earlier, where some of the things that she's writing are making it difficult for me to like suspend disbelief. So she's talking about how this group is so uninterested in even the most recent history. They don't care about the news. They don't care about anything going on in the world other than, you know, ancient things that happened. And so they, like, one of them didn't know that we had walked on the moon, which, like, there are certain facts there are certain instances in history that even the most disinterested in history and current events cannot help but know. And I feel like that's one of them. Like, they're in college now, they're in university. So I think he like dropped out of high school. But you went to school up until you dropped out of high school. It didn't take me all the way to high school to learn that we had walked on the moon. So I'm like, what? Like, I know people who are so, they do not care about news. They don't care about what's going on in the world. They don't care about politics. They don't listen, read, watch the news, anything. They don't even know about things that have gone down in the corner. But like, again, there are things that I think you cannot help but find out. So, ugh, long chapters. I'm 104 pages in, and I am only just on chapter 3. 50-page chapters, ma'am. I got home last night and I had gotten an advanced reader copy from Penguin. It's called The Rage of Innocence: How America Criminalizes Black Youth by Kristen Henning. Let's see about the author. Kristen Henning has been representing children accused of crime in Washington, D.C. for more than 25 years and is a nationally recognized trainer and consultant in the intersection of race, adolescence, and policing. She serves as the Bloom Professor of Law and Director of the Juvenile Justice Clinic and Initiative at Georgetown Law, and previously served as the lead attorney of the juvenile unit at the D.C. Public Defender Service. So this is drawing upon 25 years of experience representing Black youth in Washington, D.C. DC's juvenile courts. Kristen Henning confronts America's irrational, manufactured fears of these young people and makes a powerful, compelling case that the crisis in racist America policing begins with its relationship to Black children. Henning explains how discriminatory and aggressive policing has socialized a generation of Black teenagers to fear, resent, and resist the police, and she details the long-term consequences of racism and trauma that they experience at the hands of police and their vigilante surrogates. She makes it clear that unlike white youth who are afforded the freedom to test boundaries, experiment with sex and drugs, and figure out who they are and who they want to be, Black youth are seen as a threat to white America and are denied healthy adolescent development. She examines the criminalization of Black adolescent play and sexuality, and of Black fashion, hair, and music. She limns the effects of police presence in schools and the depth of police-induced trauma in Black adolescents, especially in the wake of the recent unprecedented worldwide outrage at racial injustice and inequality. The Rage of Innocence is an essential book for our moment. So this is what it looks like, and Thank you to Penguin Random House for sending it my way. I will be reading it soon. I actually don't have that much nonfiction in my TBR, so I'm glad to get some more, and I'm excited because nonfiction November is right around the corner, so that's when I'll be able to focus on books like that. We're getting to some long monologues in the book, and I'm realizing how often she puts my God, good Lord, my Lord. Just either not say anything else or use another phrase. Hello everybody, it is August 17th, 10 o'clock, and I am probably like 65% of the way through The Secret History, maybe 70%. I need to hurry up and finish it because I totally forgot that this Sunday, the 22nd, is my book club meeting for this one, which I haven't even started. Daughters of the Stone by Dalma Llanos Figueroa, which is, oh, the text is really big. Okay, thank God. But it is over 300 pages. Lord, and there's no audiobook that I can find, so I'm gonna have to just hunker down and finish it. But I want to finish The Secret History first because I want to return it because it's due back at the library, and I don't want to like stop because I am like deep into the story now. So it takes place around like the mid 80s because they were talking about going to see a movie about a bachelor, something about a bachelor party, which in 1984 Tom Hanks's movie, which I think is called Bachelor Party, I think it's just called, I can't remember what it's called, came out. So, and they've said a couple of things now that sort of date it. So I'm thinking it's like mid 80s. So yeah, I mean, I guess you have to take some things, you just kind of have to let some things go, some questions that I have, like, you know, I guess there are 20-something-year-olds who talk this way and whose entire lives, like, revolve around philosophy or the classics or whatever topic this sort of insular group that is focused on in these campus novels, you know, whatever they like. And, you know, I guess people 20-somethings in the 80s were different than 20-somethings now, or when I was 20-something. I don't know. But regardless, there are always things that, like, you sort of maybe side-eye a little bit, but overall, I am invested in the story more than I was at the beginning. I don't know that there's a point in which our narrator is talking about the love that he had for the character who's the victim, and I don't know how good a job she did at convincing us of that, because I never thought that any of the characters loved this character. I always thought that they tolerated him, that he somehow got involved in their group, and then they just tolerated him because she never even really did a good job of proving to us that he was as talented as the other ones, so that he would have been included in this group in the first place. Like, the teacher talks about how hard a time he has sometimes and how he has to catch up, and when we meet him, he's so like uninterested in what's going on, and the others in the group are the ones that are like seriously considering their homework and their question, and then that's when our narrator puts his input in, and that's how they get to know each other. So I never really got the sense that she either wanted us to like him as a character, or I don't think she does a good job of convincing us that anybody really cared for this guy. So I was surprised when the narrator is talking about how to him the issues that were so striking to me as a reader were but mere like inconveniences or you know, weird
things about his personality that the character found, you know, I guess sometimes charming or sometimes just easy enough to ignore. So I was surprised by that because I was like, I don't think you did a good enough job of convincing me of that. I really always thought this character was just barely tolerated. And so I guess I don't, yeah, I don't know if she knows that. But anyway, putting all of that aside, I am getting on with the story, and the desire to know how all of this plays out and the curiosity is there. Oh wow, are these characters horrible. Excuse the hair. It's post workout hair. The number of redeemable qualities in these characters, I'd be hard pressed to count. Maybe Camilla so far. I was thinking it was gonna be like maybe a 3.75 or a 4. And then our main character said something about something he wished he could do to one of the female characters. And all this other shit is going on. What was Donna Tartt smoking in the 80s, bro? Hola, hola. I don't know what time it is. Oh, 9:53 on August 19th. And I've started Daughters of the Stone by Dalma Llanos Figueroa. I thought this was a newer release, but it's not. It's been out for like 10 years. Actually, let me see. When was it officially published? 2009. It is it's a story. It's currently a story just about one slave, but it will be a story about 5 generations of Afro-Puerto Rican women. And so we are first learning about Fela, who is a slave in Puerto Rico. Yeah, it's a really quick read, actually. It's not an easy read by any means, just because of the subject matter, obviously. But I'm already 50 pages in, and I only started a little while ago, so it does read quickly. The font is big, even though the book is tall. The writing is okay. It's not anything magnificent or anything like that. There's been instances where more telling than showing is being done, and there is a I don't know, like a lack of like finesse to the writing and language, but the story itself is compelling, and I immediately care for the characters. Right now, our main characters are Fela and Filemina. Where's Filemina? Tia and Tia Josefa. So Fela and Tia Josefa are our main characters right now, and I care deeply about them. So the writing sort of being like just average is okay, because I think the story and what it has to say is more important to me. So yeah, I am actually about to finish the first part. I need to finish all of it by Sunday. It is Thursday, so I don't know, maybe if I can get like, it's not 10 just yet, so maybe if I can get like 75 pages in, maybe 100, get a good start today, and then hopefully tomorrow, I can stay up late and whatever, and then Saturday and Sunday during the day be able to finish it, because our book club meeting is at 8. So we'll see. Hopefully I can. I have already started to tab it up, though. There have been some statements, some sentences, some like ideas that I've really liked. So yeah. Hello. So I don't exactly know what the last clip was of my regular monthly reading vlog. It's now been a long time because it's like the 6th of September now. I was thinking about extending this to mid-September because Latinx Heritage Month begins on the 15th, but I think I might just start reading like Latinx books early and then just start a Latinx Heritage Month reading vlog early. So, thank you for watching my August reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. My reading wrap up is up, which will have more than what I've talked about here. And yeah, thank you for watching. I love you all very much.